You're sitting at home, craving a PlayStation 5, a new camera drone, a smart tumble dryer, or even just a goddamn toaster. Well, bad luck. All kinds of electronics have been hit hard by the global chip shortage. And unfortunately, the crisis is probably going to get worse before it gets better. We tried to find out, when will the chip shortage end? It's kind of a perfect storm. During the COVID-19 pandemic, supply chains were severely disrupted. Meanwhile, consumers stocked up on new computers and other electronic devices. Then there was the US trade war with China, starting under former President Trump, which had the US imposing restrictions on China's largest chip manufacturer. Prices for raw materials like copper skyrocketed, and Taiwan's giant semiconductor maker TSMC was forced to cut production after a devastating drought. All of that contributed to the chip shortage we see now. It's impacting hardware from gaming consoles and graphics cards to smartphones. In 2021, Xiaomi will produce 10 to 20 million fewer smartphones than the Chinese company had originally planned. And the car industry is being hit even harder. In September 2021, Toyota cut its production by 40%. That's 360,000 cars. Nissan is reportedly leaving navigation systems out of cars that would normally come with them. Electric vehicles are especially affected. Some of them use 10 times as many chips as are needed for an old-school car with a combustion engine. But, hold tight now, the ramifications are getting more and more absurd. GPS-powered dog tags were in short supply for a while. A US-based pet washing company reportedly lacked the components to power its shampoo dispensing electronic boots. And even this company has problems. Wonder what their product is? A slim vibrator concealed as jewelry. One of several creative sex toys. And all of them rely on scarce parts like microcontrollers. The examples are endless, but what can be done against the shortage?
At least there is some hope that the peak of this chip crisis is reached, and from now on it will get at least a little better.
Several steps have been taken, but calling it done, meaning completed, I don't think so.
One solution is to ramp up production capacities. However, chip makers are already producing at maximum capacity.
We are running now in problems which I call the A plus B plus C problems. That several players have, for example, enough chips of type A, but they are missing B and C to complete, for example, a car. Another automotive player is not having A, but has enough B and is lacking C. And you understand where this is heading. You can literally compare it to the situation at the beginning of the corona crisis where toilet paper was short because everybody ran to the supermarket to buy toilet paper. To get out of that is increasing the transparency of real demand, making the forecasting more accurate to the chip level.
It might be best to increase the number of chip producers in general. Right now, the world is dependent on only a small number of chip makers across the globe. Looking at the top 10 semiconductor sellers in 2020, you see 6 companies from the US, 2 from South Korea, 1 from Taiwan, and 1 from Europe.
It is only that few companies can survive in this market. Additional semiconductor capacity is actually quite expensive to build up. The semiconductor fab ranges in terms of investment from something between 5 and 15 billion US dollar, depending on the technology.
Governments can do little to defuse the current crisis quickly. In February 2021, US President Biden signed an executive order trying to strengthen the semiconductor supply chain. 7 months later, President of the European Commission Ursula von der Leyen announced a European Chips Act to try to push for greater resilience and sovereignty in regional semiconductor supply chains.
I don't want to destroy the party here, but it's not a short-term measure.
Even if you have an existing fab, you would build up on clean rooms and expand it. Then we're talking about 1 to 2 years.
It's clear that some companies want to profit from the current situation. For example, US tech giant Intel said in September that it could invest as much as 80 billion euros in Europe over the next decade. That was just months after they publicly demanded 8 billion euros in public subsidies. What terms Intel and the EU really agreed is unknown. So yes, states and companies are taking some measures to tackle the shortage, but when will it end?
I still anticipate that this will go well beyond 2022.
This is hard to predict, but I don't think that there is going to be any significant relief in the next 6 to 9 months.
There will be some relief coming up, like maybe third quarter of 2022 and through 2023, because some capacity adjustments have been made.
Regrettably, it will be quite some time until you can easily get your hands on all those highly desired devices. What is it that you're most longing for, and when do you think you'll be able to get it? We'd love it if you tell us right now in the comments.